Okay, that was like a whole system service there. I was having troubles with the wire feed. I had problems on the first section, so I cleaned the entire ground system all the way through, changed the spool of wire because it was almost out anyway. Maybe it was a little damp. Working better, but still not perfect. Still a little sputtery. Might be the longer liner. Don't know, it might just be cheap liner. But I'll get back at it. I'll finish stocking this rail so I got more room on the table for parts. Went to the Amazon yesterday. Extra bucks. Got it here by morning. Totally worth it. Still under $100, believe it or not. All right, this is the last set of these angled pickets. It's long to short is the measurement. If I hook there, I'm hooking essentially the inside of the cut, so it would throw it off. So what you can do is measure from that end to the short point, and this point is 6 feet. The angle of that cut adds 1/8. I could subtract that, or since I've spotted it exactly, I can just turn my tape around and put that point right there, and then mark what I need here. So just take the measurement and then flip it around. time-lapse set. Those are there so when there's more coolant floating around, I gotta add some. It keeps it from splashing. When you're standing here, it'll splash up. Doesn't taste very good. just got to block these up enough to clear a little tile edge when it mounts to the beam. All right, Saturday lunchtime again. We'll come back out after lunch and set that off to the side. I have a piece for a different job I got to build this weekend as well. So we'll start laying that out. Attention. Two-minute project here. This tripod, I bought it, well, to shoot with, but moving it around, there's no firm fixing, so the legs flop around. I just leave it set up in the shop here because it's too big to use. It's not very handy. I find I waste a lot of time kicking the legs around, getting it to where I want it, so I'm just gonna throw a little ring in here. Excellent. Okay. should. Alright, we'll tap the far end and then we'll straighten it. Oh, that hoop makes all the difference. All right, the next thing is we've got to turn this back to flat and then bring it down the landing and return it into the guardrail. So we'll take a little field trip here. Okay, so this is that landing piece, and the stair rail I'm working on comes up and it attaches here and on the stringer below, and there's like a 2.5 inch gap here. So it's roughly in here. So we're going to bring it up and we're going to turn it and we're going to bring it down here, and we have to return it to here, so there's nowhere for a sleeve to snag or a hand to snag. It can't be like a trip hazard or a grab hazard. Okay, so hook in the bottom, you can see there, it's about 36.5 from the bottom to the top of this here, and the use an 1.25 inch non-coated pipe for the rail, so it's got an OD of 1 5/8 inches or something. So that really lines up pretty good with this, and we just got to land it so the top of that return lands back here. It's got to be a minimum of 12 inches past the nose, but it doesn't hurt to run it a little bit longer, and we'll return it with an elbow. That's what we're doing. Yes. Okay, I was paying a little more attention here. I think I figured out what led to that catastrophe yesterday with this table. As I was lifting this piece here on, I noticed it was coming up underneath one of the release handles. The far one on this side is turned in, as is this side of that one. But I'm going to pay more attention to that if I ever use those again. So it wasn't for nothing. I learned something. Perfect time for a new tailgate. All right, got my new tailgate. Okay, so I meant to do that earlier, and then you saw what happened when the thing collapsed. The next set of rail I have is much heavier. I wouldn't say it's longer. I'll probably build it in similar sections, but it's a lot heavier because it's all solid. It's back for that modern house again. And I was gonna stop and build a new set of these, but I decided not to because I don't have the time. So those are rehabbed enough to where they're flat. They're a little taller, but not much. So I'll go ahead and straighten those up, square them up, make them parallel, and tack weld them down for now, and then I can work off of those for the rest of the job. Alright, I gotta go block access to this door here. All right, in between the time I measured these and the time I came back, they put leveling compound here. Looks like my toe kick will ride right up against the edge of their VCT there. I'll just have to chip away this garbage, but I gotta clean the rest of this stuff out real quick. This is all prepped. Everything is ground out where the new feet go on the rail, and I'm ready to start setting it in the morning. Wall's protected from the grinding. It's FRP. We'll work on that one tomorrow as well. I think we'll probably get this one set fairly quickly. Everything's ready to go. It's just 3 pieces and then a little bit of tie-in. So at most a half a day by the time I'm done messing around, but we'll see how it goes. All right, all old discs go in the ash can. It's part of the bookkeeping system. Just go back with me in the morning. Okay, that set's done. Welded out, cleaned my way down as I went. Happy with that. Move, it's good. We're gonna demo that after lunch here. I'm gonna have a quick lunch, demo that out, and see if I can push, get it prepped so I can set that other stuff tomorrow. All right, I got a little hardware kit here. I got to stick up that horizontal piece, the mezzanine piece. before I put the other rail in because I won't have room to get it in there. I'm gonna go do that. All right, real quick, you just saw me set that. The top is where it belongs. I had to shim the bottom up to get it there because there's a bow in it from hanging there and from fabrication. So I've tacked the top in place. I've actually welded it. It's plumb across the top. So the next thing I need to do is clamp it down, because if I tack it down here and try to clamp it down, there won't be anywhere for that to go. So I'll clamp it in the middle and remove this shim, and it should land where it needs to be at the bottom, and those posts will all tighten up on the stringer, the intermediate 1, 2, 3 spots. So I'll do that next. Okay, I got the fork tip into the rail there on the side shift, shoved it over, welded it out. I'm gonna let go of it here in a second and see how we end up. Okay, we're at the end of the mezzanine here. Still have that set of rail to weld in, but I've got the hinge plate here mounted up. I had a little problem. I don't know if it was a rock or a piece of rebar, but I had to upsize that hole because it wallowed out for a ½ inch. So I got a 5/8 in there. Those are in. That wall's a ½ inch out of plumb in that section. I don't know if the whole thing is, but that section is ½ inch out of plumb and 42 inches. So I've got it shimmed at the top out and a tiny little bit at the bottom. So that's what I needed, and I think what we're gonna do is take the back door off this scissor lift and load that rail in here and just drive it up with the hinge side out and try to finagle it in that way. Tap the gate side of the hinges towards the post. Now, it's probably still an 1/8 or a little under, but better. Alright, I've got this washer welded on there. We got a square nut here. I'm going to weld to this side, and that bolt will fix it firmly and hold it all together. There's also going to be a padlock loop on it, and then this will be the lineup tab. There's 2 of them that go here. That's a chain loop on there, so those will stay there permanently. So when they open the gate, there's always safety chains on it. All right, we got some safety chains up. We'll probably tighten those up. I left them a little loose so that painters can get them off and on easy while they're painting the gate. That's installed. This is all good, tied in. Just heading out for the day. Painters are working on that one. If you can see it maybe from here, but I went ahead and put a little deal on for a padlock right there. Left the bolt loose so they can open that. Still bolted together. Yeah, that's it.